12 key points from our group, a little bit provocative, and please forgive me if I don't report very honestly about your inputs. But the first series of comments was about, well, why world-class clusters? And maybe I just give you a small funny story. I lived myself a couple of years ago. I was visited by a consultant, and only the Dutch people will understand, and on his business card it was written, de kenners van kennis. So it means in English, those who knows the know-how, or so. Okay, I found it extremely impressive, almost world-class. And he was immediately disqualified. So maybe some humility is always useful to become one day maybe the kenners van kennis and a world-class clusters or a world-class operator. So maybe there was a couple of comments saying that, okay, fine, we can set up this long-term ambition. It's good to be ambitious. This is also what the VCs teach us. But we have to be pragmatic, realistic, and credible in the language and in the ambition. So a couple of people said, well, I'm very happy if I become a regional class cluster, if I become a niche market instead of a lead market, if I stay small and very efficient, very, very efficient micro clusters located here. So that was the first comment. Juan.
I like to add two things. My group was also very practical things. So they said, okay, 99% of us will be never a world-class cluster, so what shall we do? Okay, we have to accept if Commission likes to have world-class clusters, okay, fine. But then we think that the Commission should somehow define the industrial areas where they like to be worldwide, or more than that, world-class clusters. And we have not seen a clear definition from European Commission where they like to go, which our industries. Somebody said, okay, but we have this lead market initiative now. Is this maybe a way to define which areas of industry we like to support? As you may know, there are only 6. They are partly very specific. And as again, that 99% of our industries will not fit with this definition in direction of the world-class cluster. Okay, again, okay, if Commission likes this, how we can to make them much more world-class clusters. The supporting activities at the moment are maybe not enough. Why we have not a competition between all our European clusters? A competition, let's see in which area are the winners. Maybe in the healthcare area, the winner, and so on. And they should get a big amount outside of the structural funds to support, to create from the very good cluster a world-class cluster with more research, more marketing activities, more cooperation within and outside the cluster.
Thank you. There was a couple of comments about, I would say isolated comments, about the need for a more centralized policy. But I was impressed by a series of comments saying, well, why do we need more policies, especially at micromanagement level? This is probably not the role of neither the Commission nor the Member States nor the regional and local authorities. Leave the NGOs, the players, the operators and the clusters professionals to develop with a certain degrees of freedom the micromanagement of their operation. However, we still need a macro level of more coherent policies, both at the 27 member states level and at the level of sub-cluster, sub-clouds of macro regions such as the Baltic Sea initiative, for example. But there were people saying, well, let's not ask to policymakers at the European level that they go into details of micromanagement items. However, still talking about policies, yes, there is a need of public money, there is a need of public incentives and resources, probably with more flexible state aid rules applied to innovation centers and clusters. There is a clarification needed there also in order to incentivize an appropriate inter-regional cluster cooperation. because the perception and the application of state aid rules differs from a cluster to another, from a region to another, and this requires more flexibility. Public money, yes, of course, we need more. We need better streamlined money to players that are able to provide a sustainable vision, long-term, independent from cyclic political variations. With maybe what we'd like to talk exit strategy or simply long-term strategy. I stop for a moment.
Yeah, again, cluster policy is in Europe very important in our national level and our regional level, always very important, but we get money from structural funds, partly from Heaven's Framework Program and research and others. But what happens? Not in all regions you can create somehow a cluster, and if not in all industries, what happened with the rest of the industry? Will they be forgotten? Will be happen anything more? No support? And what happened with if a cluster is failing? So we need, I don't like to say a next step, but an additional step or a complementary step to support also the industries, which is maybe not now considered as a cluster, but maybe in 2-3 years can be a cluster. So how we bring them a next step to become a regional cluster or more than that. We don't know it. Maybe, so we need also alternative concepts for economic regional development to form new clusters or other kind of economic regional development policy.
Thank you.